if somebody was on camera right now and freaking holding me down against my will and raping me, you would just be like this? Or would you be disturbed? And would you be in fear for my life? Would you be scared for me? Or would you not
Uh,
care?
the hypothetical, yeah, I don't care. If it actually happened, I wouldn't know. I'd have to just see what happened and then react then.
You 18 and older and a believer.
Yep.
Okay, what brings you in the freaking live?
What you said about Deuteronomy 22, you lied. You said that God commanded the men to
He said
assault the
you.
women.
No, I said he commanded them to marry their victims. So he said you must marry them and you shall never divorce them as long as you shall live.
Well, so Deuteronomy was all about laws, right, and guidelines. Did you read the couple verses right before it where it said if the
Yeah,
man assaults the woman, because it was
yeah.
adultery, right? Did you
Well,
did you notify your
yeah.
chat that verses
Yeah,
before
well, let's
that
go over it. Let's go over it.
the
Deuteronomy
man
22. Let's start at verse
dies?
22. Let's read it. Since you wanna go forward, I'm not embarrassed to go forward. I think the whole thing is insane. So Deuteronomy 22, starting at verse 22, it gives a bunch of scenarios on the type of sex behavior, whether it's consensual or not. It's kind of a gray area when it's not consensual and when it is consensual. Deuteronomy 22, verse 22. Should I just let you know what? I'm gonna actually let you say your spiel first, and then I can read it. So we can. You're gonna say your lies, and then we'll read it, and then we'll figure out the truth. So we'll let you say your lies first. Go ahead.
So in verse 25 it says um that if the man assaults her, he dies. I didn't know
Oh
you were
wait,
gonna
no,
go to
that's not what it's.
22.
That's not
No, it
all it
does.
says. That's not all it says. So we have to read the whole thing, right?
That's the gist of it.
Oh no, it's not. You're taking a lot out of it by just saying it like that. You're taking a lot out of it. So we got to read
Wait,
the
was that
whole
not the main
thing.
point of that verse?
We got to read the whole thing because there's a reason
Go ahead
why.
and split hairs.
Split hairs by telling you you didn't read the whole thing?
Read the whole
How
thing.
how Okay. So what's your argument about verse 25 and versus verse 28 and 29?
It condemns against it openly,
Okay, in verse
and
25, then how come it doesn't openly condemn it in 28 and 29?
it does. And it even says
No, it
for the
doesn't.
tribes, for the men
No.
wandering to other tribes,
No, because in 25 it says
it
the
says,
man gets unalived, but in 28 and 29 the man doesn't get unalived. He marries his victim. What's the difference?
I believe the difference was that those women were from other tribes,
Wrong.
and well, maybe I'm wrong on that, but the point is that
So why would
those
you bring up
men
25 when it contradicts 28, 29? I know why it says that, but let's ask the Mog what he thinks. Okay, so 28, 29, how is it different than 25? Why would God say, hey, you can marry her in 28, but at 25 he's like, okay, I'm going to punish you. That wasn't cool. What's the difference?
the difference may actually be that she was a virgin.
Um, 25. Nope, the 25, the girl's a virgin as well. And 28, 29, the girl's a virgin in both of those. So in one, she gets to marry. She gets so like the other. It's like the Orthodox bro just said. It's such an honor and fucking privilege. She gets to marry her rapist and be victimized the rest of her life. It's just the most beautiful Disney love story. I get chills when I think about the person who assaulted me and me being stuck with him the rest of my life to continue to be assaulted every day. That makes me feel really special and gooey inside. That's what the last guest said. So 28, 29 says that's what gets to happen to the virgin. 25, though, the guy gets unalived. So I'm asking you, since you came up here with all this fucking confidence, what's the difference? I know the difference, but we're asking the Mog.
The difference between 28 and 25 is not even relevant, really.
It is because one, they're both virgins in them. Two, it's grown men and young girls, which is crazy. Three, both men are raping the victims. 25 says the man gets unalived for it. 28, 29 says the man marries them. And there's one thing that separates why one gets to marry and the other one gets to be unalived and punished. So I'm asking you if you know what that difference is, because you came up here with all this confidence on Deuteronomy. So I'm curious if you know.
My last guess would be that the man in 28 and 29, they paid 50 shekels to the father. And then it says he can never divorce her because he essentially, in those days, women were valued on purity. So he essentially ruined her in that world. Not today. And that's why everyone's so shocked to hear the stark guidelines for this stuff, really.
Okay, that's
essentially
not
ruined her,
that's
and
not
I think
why.
my
So why
last
did
guess,
so my
maybe you can
question?
tell me,
Okay.
is that he paid the father
No.
50 shekels.
You already said that. No, incorrect. So why did you come up here with all this confidence when you don't even know the fucking story?
Because verse 29 does not command the men to rape her.
I didn't say it commanded it. I said he's commanded to marry her to continue to... Well, actually, it does. It actually does say that.
Your moral outrage definitely suggests that it commands it.
Okay, so he actually does command to rape her for the rest of her life. Grape her. Oops. Okay, so let me give you an example, because men are incapable of having empathy. If some dude, twice your size, ran into you and just held you down and you couldn't physically get up, and he pulled your pants down and just started right in the woody booty woody, and you're crying and you're saying stop and that hurts and all this crazy stuff, and then you go to a judge or God, you go to God because God's the ultimate judge, and God says, okay, for the punishment, he has to marry you and continue to do that to you for the rest of your life. Would you feel like that was consensual?
I don't know if he would be continuously doing that, because in those days, marriage was not just about sex, which is what you seem to be preoccupied following the marriage.
Well, maybe not this guy. So if you were commanded to marry him, and guess what? In marriage, spouses do that. And in the Bible...
But I'm not a woman, so why are you asking me this?
Because I'm asking you to have fucking empathy. So if you can't have empathy for this victim, why can't... If you wouldn't
You want
like
me
that,
to
why can't you have
typecast
empathy?
what it would be like to be assaulted? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's called empathy, you douche. It's called empathy.
You're a loony. And it does not say in verse 29
it's because you literally said he doesn't command grape. But if God commands your rapist to marry you and continue to do that to you all the time, that's commanding grape. You could still get raped in marriage.
Well, one thing that maybe I could add...
You could still get raped in marriage, so if he says you're forced to marry him and he continues to do that to you, that's great. He's like getting his feelings hurt. Oh, yay, thanks. He's getting his feelings hurt. He goes, why would you make me think about that? It's called empathy, because you're over here saying, she's not raped. She just has to continue to get us...
I didn't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
You just lied again.
Okay, if he said... Caller says I lied to you. It says you must marry her, and then he gets to continue to do that the rest of her life. That's marital rape.
It doesn't say that part. You're adding that part.
What do you think they're gonna do in marriage? You think the guy that's gonna grape you is gonna stop just because you say I do?
So you add context to that.
Be for real. Don't be a moron. Like, be for real.
Two things. So you add context to the assault.
Somebody said, why are you married to a man if you don't like all men? I never said I didn't like all men. I'm literally just reading a verse in your Bible. If you guys are getting offended by a verse I'm reading, then you don't like your Bible. Take it up with God. Go ahead.
So two things. You added context to the assault, following that, the marriage and all that. But you don't add context to the fact that, and I maybe I could have mentioned this. This was not a perfect world.
I know why God commands it in 20
This was
and
the
29.
world of
Does
antiquity.
it command it in 25? Do you want to know? That's what I'm saying. I know why he commanded it, because I read the Bible, so I can answer the question. You came up here with all this confidence, so I'm asking you.
But you keep saying he commanded it when that's not true, and you even
because
backtrack.
If he forces you to marry your rapist and he continues to lie with, I'm a victim of that. If I was forced to marry him and he did that to me, every single time he did that to me would feel like grape.
But it's not in the book that he's continuously doing that. Again, you keep adding extra
Use your
stuff.
Use your brain. Why would he do it against your will, and then just because he says I do, he's going to stop? Use your brain. Now, guess what? When you say I do, Ephesians 5 says you must submit in everything. Every time you have a headache, every time you don't feel good, you have a fever, every time you're not in the mood, Ephesians 5 11 through 13 or 23 through 24 says you have to submit in everything. You can't say no when you get married. That's literally what the Bible says. So be for real that the guy that decides to grape you, I'm trying to have you to have empathy. You just decides after you say I do that he's gonna leave you alone. Be for real.
So
the guy that
you
doesn't
trying to
ask for
say,
permission is gonna start asking permission after you marry him. No, that's not how rapist minds work.
so okay, simple question. You put all this mental energy into the vividness of what would happen to the woman after. But why don't you talk about the fact that this was the world of antiquity? It obviously wasn't perfect. No one said it was perfect.
Because
And
God unalived people in the Bible for looking the wrong way. The fact that he didn't just demolish
what was
every
in their heart?
person. What?
What was in their heart?
Well, this guy's heart was to violate another human.
And doesn't
So
it
what's
command that, yeah, that
so
guy
I'm
gets
gonna
out?
ask you a question. What's a worst sin? And this is why I get so frustrated when I talk to men on this app. What is a worse sin in your opinion? Somebody who looks at another human being, tackles them. And this is why I'm putting you in the scenario, because I'm trying to teach you empathy, because you've never been assaulted based on the conversation we're having. I'm trying to have you have empathy for these women in the Bible. Just because they're women doesn't mean they like it, okay? Just because they're women doesn't mean they wouldn't want to stop getting raped. Or they don't want to get raped, is what I meant to say. Just because they're women doesn't mean their thoughts and feelings don't matter. So when I add you into the equation, it's to teach you how to have empathy towards these characters in the Bible, because you just look at them and say, who cares? But if it happened to you, you would care. It's called empathy. It's an empathy exercise. What the fuck was I talking about?
So if a woman gets assaulted and the man dies, wouldn't the woman feel that justice was done?
What were we talking about? I don't remember what we were talking about. I was trying to make a point with that.
So if the woman
Yeah,
gets
anyway.
assaulted and then the guy gets yopped.
That'd be
That's
great.
what the Bible
That's what we're
says.
talking about. You said what's in the heart. So you really don't think rapists' minds are evil? You don't think their hearts are evil? They look at another human, a human being, who has
You act like the
who has
Bible doesn't
autonomy.
forbid rape.
It literally says to marry her. It benefits them to do it.
Yeah, for the degenerate Israel world.
You
Yeah, in the
literally
world of antiquity.
said the reason why people got yeeted for turning around is because of their hearts. What's worse than a rapist heart?
That's why they got commanded to DIE.
No, they didn't. Not
In
28 and
25
29.
it says that.
Okay, I gotta explain it to what it fucking says. I can't believe you didn't even fucking read it. You just came up here to be a grape apologist. That is absolutely atrocious. Let me educate you, Mog, since you've never read the goddamn Bible. Okay, Deuteronomy 22, verse 22. It gives you a bunch of scenarios on people, men and women, and what God viewed as evil and what God viewed as I don't give a truck. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, and both of them are caught, you must unalive both of them. The evil must be purged from Israel. If a man happens to meet in a town where somebody who has their V card is pledged to be married, she's engaged, and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them out to the gate of the town and throw rocks at them until they're unalived. The girl, because she was in a town and did not scream for help. What the hell is that supposed to mean? And the man, because he violated another man's wife. And
Well,
you must
I think with
purge
the
the
screaming
evil
for
from Israel. Oh, we're still literally reading it. You must purge the evil from Israel. Verse 25. But if you're out in the country and if a man happens to meet a girl who's engaged and grapes her, only the man who has done it shall unalive. Do nothing to the girl. She has committed no sin deserving of unalivement. In this case, of someone who attacks and unalives his neighbor, for the man found the girl out in the country, and though she's engaged, she screamed for help and nobody could help her. Okay, so she's engaged. 28. If a man happens to meet a girl with her V card who's not pledged to be married, and he grapes her, and they're discovered, he shall pay the girl's father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the girl, for he has violated her. He must never divorce her as long as he shall live.
right.
Okay, so guess,
Because
out of all those scenarios, what's the I hope you were listening. Were we listening? What's
yeah,
the
we'll
difference?
talk about the last one.
No. Okay, we just read all of them. Okay. What's the difference between 22 through 27 and 28 and 29? There's one thing that separates all the scenarios on why the man is unalived in all these cases and he's not in 28 and 29. What's the missing piece? What's different in this story?
Go ahead and tell me.
Okay, we weren't putting on our thinking caps. That's okay. Born Again has got you. The only difference is in 28, 22 through 27, she's already belonged. She has another man. Another
Yep.
man has already got her.
Betrothed.
No, she's not betrothed yet in some of them, but she's promised, she's engaged in some of them, okay? So she belongs to another man. In 28 and 29, she is single as a Pringle, okay? So he gets to marry her because she doesn't belong to another man. And notice that he doesn't say she was violated and she's my daughter, she's the child of God. No. It says he violated another man's wife.
Well,
and then at 28, it says she's single as a Pringle, dude. You get the green light. You're my goat. You're good.
The reason is because the assault was adultery between the woman and a man outside of the marriage. So it basically ruined her, and that's why the man died.
The bad part was not the grape. The bad part was he violated another man's wife. So when she was single, God's like, oh, thank God. You get to marry her.
That's not what I said. What I just described was how the law was. That's not my feelings on the law. What are you talking about?
No, wait. I didn't even make a comment on your feelings. I literally just said another man's wife versus being single as a Pringle. So
yeah, I already told you these laws were for the world of antiquity. Would you not get what that means? That means old, degenerate, barbaric world.
So why does Lot's wife get unalived for turning around, and a rapist gets to marry his victim?
I believe because she doubted. She had no faith.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, well, it doesn't say that. It says she turned around and she missed her home, and God said, "I told you to not look back." So she disobeyed.
Yeah, that's no faith.
Okay, no, it's not no faith. She just disobeyed.
Faith and no faith,
God?
that is.
Do you disobey God? Do you lie
but
sometimes?
in the world, but God's not interacting with the
are you
world
an atheist?
today like back then.
Oh, yes, we have an atheist in the chat. He's lied, which means he disobeyed, which means he has no faith, according to his logic. W for an atheist in the guest panel. We are happy you're here. This is our deconstruction chat. You can join the sub coven. We're happy you're here. Okay, are we done with that silly answer? Disobedience is not lack of faith, because if that were true, then you're an atheist.
For example, if you say you trust your parents,
she turned around. He told her not to turn around, and she did. That's not lack of faith. That's disobedience. That's
no,
not
because I believe some crazy shit was happening behind them.
You're saying I believe, I know, I believe. No, you don't know because you.
Well, it's hard to recall,
but
what was happening behind them?
He said don't turn around. He said don't turn around, and she turned around. That's what happens.
Yeah, but what might have caused her to do that?
Because her home was destroyed. That was everything
that
she ever
she
cared
put her
about.
home over God.
Champ, thank you. T, thank you. Schmolet, thank you. LA, thank you. What?
That means she put her material home over God.
I know, the audacity of caring about your possessions and your family's
It's a
childhood.
Brick and mortar box.
Okay, so what's wrong about turning around because God told you not to and she did, versus harming another human who's screaming and crying to please stop and they don't? Tell me which one should be worse.
Well, the spirit is both evil. So it doesn't really make sense to try to dissect which one's worse. Because even that is using your intellect, which is evil itself.
What is wrong with you? Why can't you just answer the goddamn question? Because you look like a total monster.
Okay.
I literally said, what's worse, turning around or raping somebody? And you said, two peas in a pod. I don't know how to answer that one. That's really going to be your answer?
You're trying to be the judge of something as if you have any moral high ground.
What do you mean the judge?
Are trying to be the overlord of morality. For what?
Are you thinking grape is not a big deal?
Again, I didn't say that.
Okay, then why aren't you saying grape is the worst one? Hurting somebody is awful. Why are you, like, not answering the goddamn question? You're freaking me out right now.
If I saw someone that turned around and yeah, from my point, I'd be like, okay, the assault is worse.
Okay.
But that's
so
my
why was that
perspective.
so hard to say?
Well, because a lot of you libs, you guys like to just bully people into whatever little paradigm you want them to be for
Okay,
your little chat
so
kiosk stream.
okay, so if somebody was on camera right now and freaking holding me down against my will and raping me, you would just be like this? Or would you be disturbed? And would you be in fear for my life? Would you be scared for me? Or would you not care?
The hypothetical, yeah, I don't care. If it actually happened, I wouldn't know. I'd have to just see what happened and then react then. But this little hypothetical, like, yeah, I don't know.
Whoa! Oh!
Look at your chat, see if it's working.
Oh! Oh my god!
Let me add, it's not that I don't care if it was to happen. I just don't care
god,
for
what the
this.
fuck is wrong with you?
Well, this fake outrage, I don't care for that. This like whole thing you're doing right now.
You didn't say that though. You said the hypothetical.
I know.
I don't really care.
Some people.
No,
Some people
I even gave you a second. I gave you a fucking second. You said the hypothetical of you getting raped on camera. I don't care about the hypothetical. I grant you that. Okay, you don't have to care. But you said, and if it really happened, I'd have to kind of see what's going on. I don't know if I would actually.
That's all I could say. What do you want me to do? Pledge some hero status?
Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god.
I did that chatter probably I did say I'd be concerned. But what this whole 2 minutes of like exalting the feminine and all women are victims, which is what you're looking for, I'm not going to do that. Like if you have a brain, if you have a brain, obviously that would be something to stop. But whatever you're trying to do.
Damn.
Like, could we just acknowledge where we're at?
Damn.
You don't know the scripture. You don't know the scripture. You turned it into this whole thing, and you're looking at the chat because you don't know the scripture.
That's the fucking first. I have fucking.
So what is the first? What did I say? Let's go down it. What did I say?
The freaking first. That's insanity that you just told me that.
What is insane? Please tell me. Tell me exactly what I said that was insane.
I can't believe you fucking said that. You are an absolute monster.
Fake tears from a woman of Babylon. Your words don't mean nothing because your tears are flimsy too.
That is insane. Oh my god. That's insane. Ugh. I mean, I debate this prompt, but that genuinely
facetious
stopped me.
Facetious.
That genuinely stopped me in my tracks. I was not expecting.
Chat, you should look up what facetious means. It means fake moral outrage, like this woman.
When can we say amen? Yeah. Holy shit. This is insane. I can't. You are a fucking monster. That's insanity.
And what would you be?
Oh my god. I literally was like, there's nobody more repulsive than the last guest I had on, and you have won the ticket, dude. I've had dudes tell me that, I don't know, I've had dudes tell me they just want to in me in the face. And that one topped it. That was
Yeah, I didn't say
insane.
that. I did. What did I say?
You
Did I say I wanted to hit you in the face?
I said if somebody was aggressively raping me on camera, would you have empathy? Would you care? And you said, I don't care. I wouldn't care. That's insane.
Well, the question you posed.
You stopped me in my fucking tracks. You're a fucking monster. What the fuck, dude?
Wait, again, can you reiterate why I'm a monster?
This is your.
Be very
so
specific.
why? So you want to prove that God's not evil, and you're a follower of him, and you're a monster. You make me nervous. If I had a child, I would hide them from you. I wouldn't even cover my drink. If you walked in the room, I'd run out of the building. What is wrong with you?
Cloud is a hell of a drug for you.
Oh my god. This is what Rump did to America. He absolutely normalized men just being absolute monsters, and it just breaks my heart. We are cooked.
Because it's so obvious.
We're never coming back to normalcy. Respect is gone forever. That is insane. We used to be in a part where there was so much respect for women that like men didn't cuss in our presence, and they opened the door for us and shit. And now you guys are just like, yeah, I'd like to watch you get assaulted on camera.
Who said that?
You fucking did. That's
no,
insane.
I didn't.
That fucking freaked me out, chat. That was a little much.
Wait. So I said that.
I literally. And you said it twice. You doubled the fuck down too. You were like, yeah. Dude,
why? No, I doubled down on you're not going to bully people into this little like moral thing you're trying to do. That is what I doubled down on.
It's a simple question. If you asked me the same question, I'd be like, I would do everything I could to protect you. It's not that hard. If you asked me the same question, I would say,
Wait. Didn't you just go through a whole vivid example of I'm supposed to look into me being assaulted, but then you want me to respond back to you with compassion?
Yeah, you're being a disingenuous a-hole. I said, have empathy for this woman in the scripture, and you said, who cares? And I said, if you had the same fate and somebody held you down and you up the woody, and then God commanded them to marry you to continue to you up the woody for the rest of your life, wouldn't you think that was bad? I was advocating for you. I was showing you that if it happened to you, I would still be just as pissed. I wouldn't be like, I like it. I like it when it happens to you. I never said that. I would never think that.
But did I say that?
Rape is never okay.
But I did not say that either.
I literally said if it was happening to me on camera, what would you do? And you said, I don't know. I'd have to like look into it, but I don't actually really care. That's insane.
Could it be that I was pausing because I know what you're trying to do, as opposed to
what do you mean what you're trying to do? It's a simple fucking question. If you said born again, if I was raped or assaulted, would you care? I would say absolutely. I would want to protect you at all costs because that's never okay. I don't care how much we don't agree. I don't care how much we disagree about God, deconstruction, Christianity, our views, what denomination you are, what nationality. I don't care. I would always be against it.
Can I ask an equivalent question that posits you in a great light?
Okay, I guess. That was insane. What the fuck
So
am I doing right
the
now?
men 4 times offering themselves rape, mainly because of women like you who run kiosk streams. They basically bully men into submission. Do you care about those men, and will you stop your whole charade?
What kind of question is that? Can you rephrase it? Because that made no sense.
Well, it's just a simple question. Can I turn my camera on and start crying? Can I start crying too now?
Some dude saying, yeah.
Because
I would
one
do
is actually
nothing.
happening, the other you're LARPing it.
What's happening? What am I doing?
The 4 times male offering themselves rape, that is actually happening.
The what? What are you saying?
Well, I don't know if I can say the S word on here.
Oh, unaliving? What are you saying?
Yeah, the side rate. So I asked you, can I ask you an equivalent question that posits you in a great light?
Ask it.
Yeah, so the men are jumping off 4 times more than women, and I said it's mainly because of things like this. You're basically a microcosm of the cause of why men do that.
My Born Again Atheist channel
so my question
has
is, do you
not
care about those men?
Absolutely, I care. Absolutely, I care. First of all, we need to use our. We need to look at statistics.
These types of,
we need to. Well, let's address that question. Streams
because all of your questions have the mob behind you. We're going to address the
question. No, you asked me a question. I'm going to address it. We're not going to jump to the next question. We're going to finish the first one. I absolutely I absolutely know there is a mental health crisis for men, at least in America. That's what I'm looking at the CDC right now. Okay, the unalignment rate for men is a lot higher. Okay, there's a lot of rates that are a lot higher. Rape is higher. Self unalignment. Unalivement is higher with men unaliving women and other men at high insane rates. School pupilers are men. All men suffer more with severe depression and all of these other things. Okay, that is happening wildly with men. Now, the thing that men are struggling with is not my Born Again Atheist live. It is the patriarchy. The patriarchy says men need to be masculine. Real men don't cry. Real men don't express themselves. Real men need to be masculine and never show emotion and don't seek therapy and all of these other things. That's the toxicity of the patriarchy. Women are doing all of those things in way less numbers. Self-unalivement, harming, rape, assault, all these things. We are doing it in way less numbers because our patriarchal society says that, like, we're the nurturers. We need to be the kind ones, to have empathy. And because women are more emotional because of all of those aspects that we were forced to do, like be nurturers and care. So we're forced to do that. So we just are. We go and seek help because we want to help others. We make sure that we're in a good mindset so we can be the best people for whoever we're taking care of, because that's just what the patriarchy is. So you want to know why men are unaliving themselves at high rates, which breaks my heart? You want to know why men struggle with mental health, specifically in America, because that's the one I've researched? Because of the patriarchy, the male toxicity, the toxic masculinity that we always talk about is the reason why men who are experiencing a schmooze in relationships, men who get raped, men who get schmalted, men who have all these bad things, they're under-reporting because the patriarchy says real men can't get DV'd by a girl. You're the man. You can't get beat on by a girl. That's the patriarchy. We don't want you to underreport, because when you underreport, you don't get help. There are not good shelters for men who are victims of a schmooze. There's not good resources for men who are emotionally, schmexually, physically schmoozed in relationships. You all don't have good resources, and that's not the feminist movement. That's not the Born Again Atheist live. That's the toxicity of the patriarchy, and I would love if we could change that. But unfortunately, rather than addressing the high unalivement rate for men or the high mental health crisis for men, we're fucking here looking at the T and the LGBTQ and saying they're the reason why everything's a problem in America. We're looking at the feminist movement and we're saying that's why men are bad. That's why men unalive themselves. It's because of women. No, we're focusing the light in the complete wrong direction. So when you say, do I care? Absolutely. But the things I'm pushing for is what would help you in the long run. Watching Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Joe Rogan scream about T and the LGBTQ is not going to help you, mother truckers. Trying to overdo abortion is not going to help you. And watching podcast bros like Andrew Tate and all these other mother truckers is not going to fix your mental health crisis. It's going to make it worse, because now you're gender dividing. You're blaming women for every issue you guys have ever had, and that's not what we need to do. We need to fix it. Rather than just bandaging the tumor, we need to remove the tumor, which is the patriarchy. And it's this fucking rhetoric that normalizes you and the prior guests laughing and fantasizing about women and not giving two shits when women get hurt, and you guys go, but did they actually get raped? Let's kind of figure out the full story here. We're missing some pieces. That's the bullshit that's not going to help you guys with your mental health crisis. Blaming women for everything is not going to help you. So that is how I'm going to address the question.
Nice. But we're not in a patriarchy. Those rules we just talked about.
He said nice. This is just statistics. This is just research. This is what the data tells us. That as long as the patriarchy says real men don't seek help, real men don't take care of themselves, real men, we don't have access for men, men can't actually get a schmooze in relationships, all of that is going to be the reason why you guys struggle. And we need to figure that out rather than blame shift and blame all the women for everything that ever happens and blame my live for men unaliving themselves, which is not true. Men are not unaliving themselves because they watch the Born Again Atheist live. That's bullshit. When I come up here, I looked at my stats yesterday. 85% of my audience is men. And all the people, I have women that gift me, because I have Amanda, Danny, LJ, etc. I have women who gift me, but men gift me. Like, men gift me and they write me kind messages. So it's not that I'm attacking men. I'm attacking the toxicity of masculinity, the patriarchy, because that makes life hard for everybody.
Again, though,
So
especially
you're not
in the
listening.
West.
So let's approach it. Because what I said is true. I took psychology. I did all the statistic classes. I know this is true. You need to approach what I said rather than just say, right. So what about something else I wasn't listening about? Because that's exactly what would fix it.
There is no patriarchy, especially today.
How is there no
by virtue
patriarchy
of
when we just passed the SAVE Act, which makes it impossible for married women who have changed their last name to cast a ballot? That only affects married women. The patriarchy does exist. We do not make the same amount on a dollar. We make like a certain percentage of a dollar than a man does, and women
Yeah,
of color
because
make
your power
way
level is not
less.
your money. Yeah, because men know deep down they must be economically viable. Their power level is money. Everyone knows this. It's not cringe. It's not incel. It's not red pill. It's obvious shit. Why would
What do
men
you
earn
mean?
more? Why would men earn more? Why is there a pay gap? Because they have to. I mean, some of this stuff is so basic, and it's not a
Oh,
patriarchy.
oh, they
It's not a
have to.
patriarchy
Sorry,
because
sorry,
patriarchy.
women. Sorry, women. They have to. Why?
How have
Shut
you?
up. They
Did you
have
do?
to. What do you mean?
Did
What
you
about the
do?
women who are married? What about the
Have
two
you
women
done
who married?
100 hours of work at
Two
an
women who
investment
are
bank in a
married.
week?
Two women who are married. What about them? They both are
Yeah,
women. They
I don't
both are in
care
the
about
workforce.
the literal
That why do men have to make more? What if it's two women in a household? Why can't they make more?
well, that's so rare. It's not even worth talking about.
What do you? Two women getting married is rare?
What percentage do it? Bet you don't even know.
Wait, I don't care if it's only one person on this planet. They should deserve the same pay.
No, the point is, I'm not like, why are we talking about lesbian relationships?
Because a man shouldn't make more, because not everybody, well, first of all, they shouldn't make more, period. Second of all, there are single women. Third of all, there are married women. So why do men just get to make more just because?
Well, when you take the restrictions off men and pull women down from the artificial pedestal, they naturally will make more because, oh, everyone expects them to get resources.
What are you talking about? You just
So
don't like women?
what we have is the so-called gender equality, which is just lowering men and raising up women artificially,
No, it's not
and
lowering
it's
men.
making everyone
Equality.
confused, honestly.
See, this is the patriarchy. The patriarchy is thinking that women reaching equality, because we're not there
We're
yet.
really in a patriarchy.
Women reaching for equality when you're privileged, because you're privileged. You're privileged. Women reaching for equality feels like oppression to you. People getting to the level of equality, which we're not there yet, and based on what the color of your skin is, will vary where that reaches, okay? Lighter skinned women are closer to the pay gap with men than women of color. Women of color see like 30% of a dollar. It's insane. So reaching for equality would feel like oppression to you because you're privileged. Equality is not oppression. But if you're privileged, it would feel like people reaching for equality would feel like oppression to you, and it's not.
Do women have privilege they can't see because it's invisible and they have it?
What privilege do we have? We just got our rights taken away in
Being
2022.
accepted for the way you look, not needing to provide any bit of economic value at all.
What are you talking
You can
about?
leech.
Women are
Women
bullied
are
for
allowed
their
to
looks all the
leech.
time.
Women are allowed to leech. From a barter standpoint, which is how society always
No,
worked
that's
before
the patriarchy.
before the soy iPhone
That's
world.
the patriarchy. Why are you saying the patriarchy isn't existing and then immediately emulating all the patriarchy rhetoric?
Well, okay. The reason you're bringing that
You're
up
just
is
uneducated. You just don't know anything about
so
statistics, what
you're
research says.
acting
You
as
just
if
don't like
anything
women.
else.
Do you have a mom?
Yeah, but you're
Then why do
acting
you
as if.
disrespect women?
Well, you're not on par
Would
with my
she
mother.
like it if you
You're not on
disrespected
par.
women?
So a lot of women, they
Oh,
try to
I'm not
compare
on par with
themselves to your
mommy.
mom.
That makes sense. I'm not on par with mommy.
No,
Okay,
no,
that
no,
makes
no,
sense.
no, no, no.
That
So a
makes
lot of
sense.
women try to compare themselves to random men's moms because what she's really saying is, your
No,
mom
I'm
has these
saying if you
genitals,
have
I
respect,
have
do you
these
have
genitals,
respect for your mom?
therefore I'm your mother. That's
Do you have
what you're
do you have
saying?
respect for your mom?
Yeah, but you're
Okay,
not
so if
on
you and your
her
mom worked at the
levels.
same
So you
place,
can't,
I know I'm
it's
not
a
on mommy's
disrespectful
level.
question to even ask.
I'm not on mommy's level. Okay, so if you and mommy worked in the same building, in the same department, do you think you deserve to make more than her, even though she gave you life?
If it's the same amount of hours, no.
Mommy. You think you deserve to make more than your mother if you guys worked the same
I
hours
said
in the same
no.
department?
I said no, you imbecile.
Okay, so why are you saying that women don't deserve to make as much as you, even if we did the same job?
No,
And why
no,
are you
no.
saying that?
I
And you
didn't
feel like
say
you're
that.
being
I said
oppressed?
they simply don't.
Yeah, but you said it
Left
needs
to
to
their
be
own
that way.
devices.
You said it needs to be that way, except when mommy does it.
Well,
Because
no,
we
no,
love
no, no.
mommy.
It is that way. And what I said needs to be that
Do
way
you think
is the
women deserve to
patriarchy.
make as much as you doing the same amount of work?
If they're doing the exact same in your like theoretical example, yeah, same
what do you
amount.
mean? I literally said yes. It's the same work.
Because in reality, men's power level is their money. That's why they make more because they have to, like I said. And the thing about the patriarchy, the patriarchy
That's
has
the
to exist too.
patriarchy. When you say that women just have to look pretty,
That is true.
when you're saying women just have, that's the fucking patriarchy. You fucking incel. That's the patriarchy.
I don't think you understand. There's
That's
no
the patriarchy. When you're like,
matriarchy
damn it,
world that can
they
happen.
have to have big juggers, and that's how they make money, and that's unfair. That's the patriarchy that schmexualizes women.
No one said
That's
it was
the
unfair.
patriarchy.
You said I said it was unfair. I did not say it was unfair.
Okay, so you blamed women for just being pretty and not knowing how to do things.
No, for mainly the reason women would be under fire today is for not holding up their end of the bargain. It's simple.
Why wouldn't women hold up the end of the bargain? Women can be doctors, scientists, engineers.
But that's not how nature or
teachers.
men
What do
value
you mean
them.
nature?
The women are not expected to get the resources to have a job.
What are you talking
It's to
about?
raise
It's
kids.
2025. What do you mean? It's
I know,
it's
and
not the
everyone-
Stone
and
Age. We're not
everyone-
going out and hunting and gathering, which women did.
I know, but isn't that funny? Everyone got iPhones and the highest purchasing power, but everyone's depressed because no one knows what to
What
do
are you
anymore.
talking about?
Because the gender rules have been flip-flopped.
What? You think we're depressed because women want to be in the workforce?
Well, that's just a symptom of it, but the point is it makes the average person a nut
What?
job when you
Because
don't even know
women-
the basic roles.
Okay, did you ever think oh my god. Did you ever think, hold on, Lauren Danae. Okay, I'm gonna give it a few minutes. I'm gonna bring up Danae and Laura for a few minutes.
What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some shorts and a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get in bed, and you just keep going. I don't mind.
Okay, I'm not gonna be on crazy long, but I'm gonna bring up LJ and Danny. I need a break. Oh, Danny, hello. Are you here, Danny? Hi LJ. This guy is absolutely, I'm shocked. But when he said he loves his mommy, I said, oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was shocked. He was like, if somebody gripped you on camera, I wouldn't care. But then when he said he loved his mommy, I said,
Wait,
oh.
no, I didn't say
There we
that
go.
though. This woman is lying again.
LJ, did you hear him say
No,
that
no,
earlier?
we've been around. We've heard what you've said.
Danny, you have lied too. That makes two of you.
Yeah, we all lie, dude.
But mommy
No,
wouldn't
but
lie.
you guys lied about something serious, which is
What are you
another
talking
privilege
about?
that most women have. They can say whatever.
That's the
What-
So
patriarchy.
I have a question. So you
But
were saying
again,
that,
the patriarchy is the only way this can work. This little matriarchy, make everyone equal, it will always fail. It has failed in the past,
Hold
and
on,
we're going toward it, and we're
LJ,
going toward it
he's
insanity
crying.
with your devil horns.
He loves Andrew Tate and his mommy, so we're gonna take a quick second, and then LJ, you can just take over from here. Every time we meet our life goal.
Just remember, the devil
We do a
horn
little
girl is the
seance.
moral one.
Dear Dark Lord,
Th-
thank you so
These
much
are our
that
people
if
that
something
speak.
bad happened to anybody, you would care. And dear Dark Lord, we ask you to send specific hexes to the guest. who couldn't
coming for
care
you, G.
less about a woman being harmed. And Dear Dark Lord continued to send hexes, schmexes, halakalalala, shalakalalalimi, send all my feminist demies to the guest.
This
for
is
being
all
an
because this girl
absolute
had one
monster.
failed Omegle relationship, too. This is crazy.
She may. My little Demi is not happy right now. Anyway, praise be to the Dark Lord, praise be to He. Thank you so much for helping us meet our life goal. All right, LJ, please, or Danny, take it from here.
I just had a question for the guest. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying that women have this like inherent value in their looks, right? So they just have to like look pretty and then that's all they have to do?
I said they can be leeches.
Okay, they can be leeches because of how they look.
Yeah, if they look good enough.
Okay, so what is the value of them looking good?
Offspring, really the genetics of the kid.
Okay, so who assigns that value?
I guess kind of the civilization, probably.
It's
Like,
it's not the
what part-
civilization.
What part of the civilization assigns the value to an attractive woman?
Probably the reptilian part of the brain. I don't know. The unconscious bias of all the people. Who knows?
Okay, so you think it's just completely evolutionary and it's not a taught thing at all. So like, so
No. Attractive people, you get dopamine looking at their face. This is not subjective.
Who gets dopamine looking at a pretty woman's face?
Whoever's looking.
Okay, I don't get dopamine
Anyone?
when I look at a pretty woman's face.
Well, you would get cortisol, I believe, if you looked at an ugly woman's face.
I don't look at women.
Have you
as
seen that
objects.
study where the men looked at a attractive woman and it was dopamine, and then they looked
Okay,
away?
so
and it was
you're getting
nothing?
closer. You're getting really close.
Yeah, how
LJ, bring it
convenient
home.
for you
Danny,
to
bring
pull
it
up
home.
a study. Like, for once, you're gonna follow statistics. Got it. Okay, let's
Yeah,
keep on
right,
that.
yeah.
Let's note that.
So,
yeah, he
so
pulled up a
the
study.
demographic you mentioned was men, right? So men would look at certain women and assign a value or feel a hormone release based on what their looks are.
Of the woman, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's
that's
not the reptilian
patriarchy.
society. Yeah, it's not reptilian
Yeah.
society. It's not our evolutionary lizard brain. It's not all of society. You're like literally running away from the answer that you know the answer. You know the answer. Anyway, LJ.
Wait,
go
so
ahead.
you don't get certain chemicals looking at good or bad looking people? Because
Well,
you do.
no, I'm not saying that at all. But
So
I'm
what
saying,
are you guys saying then?
What are
my
you saying?
point is that you're saying that the inherent value that women bring is their attractiveness, and the inherent value that men bring is their ability to earn money. Who set up that system?
I would say nature, not even men, really. It's
The
just how it
lizards, the
was.
lizards.
So nature.
No, it's not
so
the
if I
lizards.
go
It's how it
outside,
was in the
no,
beginning.
shut up. So if
and
I go
that's how the
outside,
complementary nature
if I
worked and
go
built the world.
outside, the birds are literally, all the women birds are the most attractive and all the men birds are working real hard, right? No, that's not how nature works. In nature, the males are the attractive ones, right? So explain to me how that has anything to do with nature.
Well, the
the male peacocks have the colorful feathers, and then the female peacocks are like brown.
you guys would base our behavior off what animals do.
Well,
so
you're
I'm not
doing
surprised.
that.
You
You're
said
like,
it was nature and reptiles, you dipshit.
I didn't say reptiles.
You said the reptile brain. Excuse
Yeah,
me. Do you
but
know
why
where
are you
the
talking
term
about
reptile brain comes from?
Hey,
It comes from
lady.
our ability to
Lady,
assess
why are you talking
situations.
about the nature impacts on birds and not humans?
You brought up
Because-
nature.
Yes, you
Yeah,
were
on
the one who's
humans, not fucking elephants.
Oh wait, but why did you say, when you say nature, we as intelligent beings go, oh, nature is all living things. You walk outside, that is nature. We're not thinking of Steve and Janet. When you say nature, you should have just said men and women or people. not nature. And you
Humans.
said reptilian
No,
brains.
no, no. At the beginning of time, before we had all these social disruptors
okay,
that
but
literally fuck our brains up, there was a certain order to things.
Okay, but at
so
beginning
then,
of time.
And you
go
guys
ahead,
can't
Danny.
cope out of that
why
one.
do we have social disruptors? Why?
Oh, well, that's a kind of way broader question for
I don't
another day.
know.
Yeah, that's for another guy. Yeah, I know.
No, for another day.
No, but if you want to like compare treating women poorly and then say that we're animalistic and then put them in the same category, you should have an answer for that.
How did I say we were animalistic?
Because you said the reptilian brain. You
So we're in
referenced
nature, yeah. Okay, so let's have you restate it. Okay, so when you say that women use their looks as monetary gain and men use money to be in charge or whatever the fuck you said, who put those standards in place? Get specific. Don't be overgeneralizing.
God. I wouldn't even say nature. It's God.
So God commands us to be hot.
Well,
to shake our junk around in the workplace to get more money.
Well,
to chimichanga around the office so we get more coin. That's God.
I mean, by setting up the world the way it was with the attributes men and women have, yeah, there's certain roles the men are going to do and the women are going to do. Everyone with a brain knows this. And yeah, so it's not men setting up the system. Yeah,
Well,
women.
then, here's
Don't
my
worry,
question.
we'll
So
charge
then-
the tiger, ladies. We'll die en masse, but you guys just cook. No,
then
no, no.
answer the question. Who set it up?
I said God set it up, but it naturally played out that men take over.
Okay, so what is the largest danger to women in 2025?
Probably themselves.
No, statistically, since you like to conveniently pull out statistics, what is the largest danger to women?
Themselves. I think 1 in 4 women or 1 in 3 are
No,
on.
not what you think. Statistically.
Yeah, statistically.
Reference something.
Statistically.
Okay, what's the website, dude?
Okay,
Where do you see
statistically,
that?
1 in
Other
3
than
women
your
are
own
on
formed
anti-psychiatric
opinion based off the
medication. 1 in 3 have
patriarchy.
had an abortion.
Okay, let me back up.
So
Let
I
me
think
back up.
they're
Let
a
me
harm
let
to
me help you.
themselves.
So what is the statistically what is the worst danger to pregnant women?
Yes, that's a great one to pull out. Yes.
I don't know. What is it?
Let me help you, my friend. It's violence from their spouse, who is a man.
Okay.
That is what statistically harms the most pregnant women. Can we agree on that, or do you need to Google it first?
You can have that. I would probably assume that the one that's always around that person is going to be
Yeah.
most likely to
Okay,
abuse.
But
no,
mommy
it's not the one that's always around, because they're around a lot of people. Pregnant people are around all sorts of people.
Yeah,
but the
but
most
Not your
dangerous
spouse.
person
No
they're
one
around
more than your spouse, probably.
is their male spouse. Okay, so who's
that's-
harming the most pregnant women in the world? It is their male spouse, right? So we're there, we're together.
Wait, I don't know if those two add up. That's just the group that's most likely to do it. That's not the group that's causing the most harm to pregnant women.
No.
I mean, it is.
The highest rate of pregnant women's unalivement, like when pregnant women are unalived, the biggest cause is from a male spouse.
And it's not even like, oh, it's 51%, bro. This number is like 60-70%. It is like a very
Well, those are
clear
probably
majority.
degenerate relationships, and that's a tragedy.
No, but
Okay.
but women unalive in pregnancy due to health complications pretty often.
No, they
but
don't.
the higher rate is through a spouse, so that's a problem. So we can't say that it's all women. They're the danger to themselves. When statistics say that's absolutely not the case.
But we just niched in on one group of pregnant women, and I thought we were zooming out to women in
I
general and
thought
what's the
that
harm.
Christians cared about people. I don't understand why niching in on one type of specific group was a problem.
Because there's more women than pregnant women. So if you care about all
Okay,
the
so we
women,
only care about a
when you
certain
fishnet and
percentage.
cast a wide
Right.
net on the
What benefits
broadest
your
group of
narrative?
women.
Got it. Okay. Anyway,
Well,
continue.
whatever fits your boat, dude, because I'm just talking to you. So I went there because that's where you went, but then of course you're gonna change the subject. My point is, the largest danger to women is men. That is statistically, unequivocally fact. The largest danger to women in the world is men. So when you say that men need to fulfill their role as a protector because that is the designer made them that way, right? Why would they need to be protected from other men unless the issue wasn't the designer but the way that they are? The way that they're taught to be, that men are taught to be an issue.
So the reason they need to be whatever you said, like protected by God or whatever, it's because I mean really everyone's abandoned mission, but
Well,
when women don't do their role, then that's all types of other precarious situations.
So the women aren't doing their role and that's why they get hurt.
I mean, it's not
Yikes on
why they get
lights.
hurt. It's more
That's
like
literally what you
you could
just
see
said.
you could see why there's they didn't have these problems back in the day the way it is now, where every girl is basically touched since 14. They didn't have those problems 100 years ago. They just did
Yes,
not.
they
Because it was
did,
sanctioned by
dude.
No,
law.
Are you
it was not
kidding?
underreported. They knew psychology. That's not true that we just discovered it and it's always been evil. No, the society's more degenerate. Thank you, feminism. Thank you, 1970s third
So
wave
why would it
acid
be
orgies.
feminism if men are the ones doing it? Why would feminism insinuate that men should harm women? Feminism is literally us just being able to vote. It's literally us just having access to health care in low income areas, having higher access to education, health care, and things like that. Why would that cause men to want to hurt us? Like, why are you blaming women wanting equality
It
for
doesn't.
men
No,
hurting
it's not. It
us?
doesn't directly cause men to want to hurt women. What it more does is it filters up all parts of society. So then you see
Yeah,
sloppiness in
no,
everything.
okay. So if they're
DV,
unaliving us,
abortions,
but
everything.
no, DV is not
Divorces.
caused by feminism. Men are causing DV things in this case of hetero
Well,
relationships. Why?
much of the antipathy between men and women is caused by feminism, and that's when things get more hostile.
So it's
So in other words,
okay. So what Laura said was, or sorry, LJ. What LJ said was correct. When we submit and obey and we're quiet, we get less. We experience less harm, except in the case that we burn our dinner and then our spouse can just come home and us in the face, right? But as long as we're quiet, it'll be fine. That's basically what LJ said.
you
and
should
what you're
watch
admitting to.
all women that think this way. You should watch any Gunsmoke film in the 50s and 60s. Any men that did that were looked at as degenerate in the town because it's like, bro, what are you doing?
You said it.
Okay.
Not
Like, yeah,
me.
they're
You
women,
said
but
that
Yeah,
just now.
yeah, dude. Like, I have a dad. Like, I've seen those films. I see the problem
yeah. So
with
that's how
it.
it was portrayed in the 50s. So what you're portraying now
You're
is even
blaming
wrong.
feminism for our schmooze. When men are the ones schmoozing us,
But
it's
then
not
also
feminism.
denying the existence of the patriarchy.
No,
Yeah,
no. The
exactly.
patriarchy is not what you guys claim it is today because the patriarchy at best is very weak compared to what it was. And that's a
Right,
fact.
because the women should be more submissive, and they're not. Like, just get to the point already.
Yeah,
Just say
exactly.
you hate women.
Well, it's not submission. I don't know about that. It's more having a secondary
No,
role
no, no,
in
no.
society.
You want to have smex with them, and then you want to blame them for not filling
It's
their roles.
no,
and
no.
all
It's
you
more
have
of
to
having
do
a
is bring
secondary role in
dollar
society.
home.
Period. I agree, Danny.
What
When you
what does a secondary role in society look like to you? Like just raising
okay,
the next generation, or is it
yes,
just
which is
like?
what all the women in the 1890s wrote
And how
about.
is that secondary to what any man would do by going to work and screwing a wrench or whatever they do? Like how
Yeah,
is like
because
how
right,
is
because
raising the next society not equivalent or primary compared to whatever you're calling a secondary role?
well, that was women's primary duty. But when I mean primary, I mean the men going to work or defending the military or any infrastructure. Because I mean,
Defending it
if we're
from
being for
who?
real,
Other men?
Yeah,
well, if we're
exactly.
being for real, the government's gone too far too. Any social program is unnecessary. The only real government should probably be the military because everything else is
What?
unnecessary. All it does is leave room for
What?
social programs.
Why? But the military defends from other men, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, but go figure. Yeah, go figure. Men are the emitters of bad and evil. We've known this. Men are the shapeshifters. They're the ones doing shit and moving the needle. Women
So
can't
if
change
we
that.
omit,
Neither can
if we
feminism.
omit men entirely, then wouldn't it just be progress?
What you
Because
guys are trying to do is like
mean, period.
mass vasectomy men, and it's never going to work.
vasectomy.
I
Have
wish.
we
I
Well,
offered
you
freaking
basically
wish.
are.
vasectomy from like since we've been here? You're the one that offered that point up. I've
I vasectomy
offered
this
0
conversation?
vasectomy since I've been here.
No, but you're acting like the women can do what the men
Well,
do.
you're acting like I'm coming for your body and you're upset. So I don't really understand
Snip, snip,
why
snip,
you're
snip.
so upset.
I don't know if I'm
I just don't
upset.
really understand why you're not fulfilling your role and you haven't made enough money to fix this country. I'm like really pissed off.
I mean, I'm not JP Morgan. That's not my job to save the government.
Well, why aren't you?
Snip, snip.
Ligma? I'm pissed.
Snap, snip, snap.
I
snap, snap,
believe
snap.
I believe most women are pissed at the way things are unfolding.
I believe most women are pissed. I believe most men are pissed because we should give them vasectomies because they're not making enough money. Like,
Ooh,
give me a
period.
break, dude. Give me a break. You don't get it? You're not
Snip,
smart
snap,
enough?
snap, snap.
I feel bad for the woman that you end up with. If you're with a woman, poor thing, she'll never be fulfilled. And
Danny, he's
unless
single.
you take the time to
Danny, he's single.
open
He
your
has.
spectrum
He's single.
and compassion,
Danny,
That's
can
why
you
you'll
he's
just
so
make
never
mad.
one
get it.
sentence? Can you
You'll
just make
never
one
get
sentence,
it.
Danny?
Okay.
No,
Let her speak. But he is single. Obviously.
that's obvious.
Obvious.
What a joke.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's okay. So the reason why he knows all of this information and uses the word statistics sometimes but doesn't actually have a source is because mommy said there is nobody who's better for my little boy. Nobody can be good for my little boy. All the women out there are bad girls, and nobody can be as good for my little boy. Him and his mommy have an interesting relationship. So that's kind of where all this is stemming from. If anybody's
So what you're
interested.
talking about,
Mommy and
is
his goody woody boy.
so what you're referencing is Mother Goddess worship, which comes from the Bible, which is Semiramis with
No,
Nimrod.
I'm talking about your mommy wommy, guess.
Yeah, I know,
Your
but
mommy,
the dynamic,
you are the goodest, wittest boy for your mommy.
the
wommy.
dynamic you're talking about is Mother Goddess worship. It's incest.
No,
it's
I'm talking
degenerate.
about your relationship with your mom, and if you want to use those
Incest.
words, yikes on pikes.
No, so the reason I bring it up is because what you're
Ugh, why
describing.
would you wait? I'm talking about your mom.
No,
Why
no,
would you use the
yeah,
word
you
incest?
brought it up.
I know you are.
You brought it up, dude.
Because that phenomenon you're describing has taken over the country in the exaltation of the feminine,
It has? Well, I mean, I
which
just
basically
have not
means
seen
worshiping
that.
the women.
So why don't we have a female president? Why are still like 10% of CEOs women? I mean, at the end of the day, you
What
all
percentage
are
are
still,
CEOs?
I don't know actually.
Wait a
but
second, but didn't we just agree that
It's
men's
smaller. I'm
only
sorry to
chance?
cut you off. I was just curious.
Didn't we just agree that men's only chance, pretty much throughout history, to mate has been resources? So obviously,
didn't agree with that.
the men are going to be the
disagree to
CEOs.
that.
No, it's the reason why y'all procreated so much back in the day is just constantly raping women. That's just how it was in those days, which is really sad. Because the more babies you had, the more stronger you were. Numbers were important, so y'all were just raping people back in the day.
Well, hold on? Do you think humans are
So
animals?
it's well, we are animals. It's an evolutionary trait,
No, no,
unfortunately.
no.
That's
So
why we
why?
don't
So
have empathy.
if humans
No,
are
you
animals, and you
idiot.
don't think
You
any of this moral
said,
stuff
like,
applies,
moments
why would you say it's
ago.
wrong then?
Minutes ago that we weren't animals. And now you're like, do you agree we're animals? Like,
I'm asking you guys.
Yeah, you said back in the so
uh,
we are apes, and we have common ancestors with different types of everything technically, but we're apes, and so your evolutionary biology back in the day was the more women you held down, whether they consented or not, was better for you. So that's why probably in 2025, people like you, when I brought up a scenario of me getting raped or the girl in the Bible getting raped, and I said, would you care? And you said, absolutely not. It's because there's
But I
something
did
in your
not say that.
DNA that kind of triggered that, where you're like, I don't really care. I don't care.
But I did
Okay.
not say that.
Okay, no, because you said I was rage baiting. You never addressed it. You never once said, you know what, born again, if that happened, obviously I would care. That's not what I meant. And then I would pull
Well,
back. I
people
would
like
pull back.
you, people
Exactly,
like you,
people
if
like
I
you.
answered
I'm
too
giving you, this
abruptly,
would be
that could have
another
been
time,
used against me
this would be
too.
another chance to pull back and you're not. That's why I'm saying I've never once granted you that you were nice about it because you haven't been yet.
So then, simple question: if she was on video getting raped, what would you do right now?
If it was on video?
If it was
If
live
you
right
were
now.
watching her getting raped anywhere, in person, on video, in a diner, I don't know what other scenarios you need. What would you do?
Try to stop it, then maybe call the cops.
Maybe call the cops. Love that language.
Maybe call the cops. What would you
Maybe
do?
call the
What would you
cops.
do? What would you do?
Call the effing cops, man. Like, what are you
Okay,
talking
so
about?
I
What
just
would
said
I
that,
do?
and I would try to stop it. You would be a
You said
woman,
you would
cry, call the
maybe call
cops,
the
and then wait for
cops.
the men to show up, and then
Yeah.
blame all men.
You
Marissa,
probably have
guess really said maybe.
you probably have to assess the situation, see
So
if
can
you
we
got
remind?
it
Can
or
you
not
remind
before you
what
I
made
don't
just
know. My
a
happened?
buddy's
choice.
having a good time. Like,
So I
get
said,
outta
I
here,
said I would
dude.
He
try to
has a
stop
bright
it.
future. He has a bright future ahead. He wouldn't. My buddy wouldn't do that. My buddy wouldn't.
Actually, his mom called me and said, like, you know what? He's a good guy.
Yeah,
he doesn't have
says
to
where he
try
said
ever.
Danny,
And
are
she
you
sort of deserved it, I think. There was like a plus on it, and that was really affirming to me. And so I just let it happen. Like, it's fine. I feel like she was like, plus, like, let's go. Like, bullshit.
He's like, period. He really said period.
So to born again, to Danny, and to G, what is wrong with you guys?
Yeah,
I
You-
what's
mean,
wrong with you? Because you
Yeah.
literally told me you were trying to like get me, right? Because I asked you if that happened to me because you don't care that happened in the Bible. So I said, let's make it a little more personal. If it happened to me, what would you do? And you were like, ugh, dude. Like, first of all, I'm not engaging with that. And I was like, but if it was real, you're like, whatever, I don't care. Okay, and then I freaked out. I was like, what the hell? You're a monster. And then you asked me, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna play your game. How do you feel that men are unaliving themselves in high numbers? And I absolutely approached it through a 10-minute spiel about how I am devastated that we have a society that doesn't protect men's mental health. Because when men's mental health is not protected, kids get pew-pewed in school. Moms have to bury their sons. Women are buried at the hands of unhealthy partners. A lot of bad things happen when we don't take care of men's mental health. So I literally said, I wish we could fix it, but unfortunately, Rump and all his little minions, the red pill guys, don't approach the situation the way they're supposed to. They blame women rather than approach it. You want to know why men are still unaliving themselves after a decade? It's a decade of Rump, and you all still have, y'all still have high
You're
unalivement
not
rates.
listening.
I already
Yes.
said that the women
Oh
are
my
not really
God.
capable of doing good or bad on a mass level because the
No,
men
you
are the
said, you
emitters.
literally, and then he tried to like get me because
But I said
exposed
women
him
are
for
not
being-
fulfilling their end
I
of the bargain.
exposed
No,
him for being a
yes.
monster. So then he said the born again atheist account is why men are unaliving themselves.
Yeah,
Well,
you know,
what I mean is your channel is a microcosm of what's wrong
You
with
are a
basically the
microcosm
rapport
of what's
between men
wrong.
and women.
No,
you
it's the
are
red pill.
what's wrong.
It's the red pill that makes you guys
No,
become
no.
crybabies.
It's definitely not the red pill. The red pill is corny. I mean, most dudes had thoughts like that when they were 14, and they got over it. It's been blown
Well,
out of
guess
proportion
what?
as if dudes
Guess
take
what?
it into gospel.
Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Rump, JD Vance, all those truckers brought those 14-year-old ideas back into grown-ass men bodies and minds. So be for real. Like, Rump has been pushing this message for a decade, and y'all still
You know
have
what's
really
funny? You
bad
guys
mental
talk about a
health.
5-year little spiel, but you don't talk about the 50-year feminism spiel.
Yeah,
And what
you
did
know
the
what
50-year
else?
feminism spiel get us?
Well, from the 70s on, you know, when you guys did Woodstock, which is just women having a bunch of
You guys,
orgies
like,
on
we weren't even
acid.
alive during
could-
Woodstock, dude. Like, we're real people here, and you're like, you guys. Like, that's what we're talking about, is the rhetoric.
G, did you go to Woodstock?
Did I go to, do I look like the age to have been at Woodstock? Just based off my picture alone.
I said G, you imbecile.
Oh, well, I
Oh.
have G in my name, you idiot.
Apparently, I'm G.
What's more obvious?
No, I didn't go to Woodstock, dummy.
So women getting bank accounts is toxic to you?
So
Because that's
women
what was
being able to
happening.
get their own mortgage, women being able to have their own medical choices, so women being able to be non-discriminated against at work, is that like the 50 years of mess you're talking about, so that I can go to work and when a man grabs me in an inappropriate way, I can make a legitimate complaint to the HR department? Is that what you're talking about? The 50 years of backtracking? Speak up, I can't hear
That's
you.
what pisses you off.
Can you make that in like one sentence? Super simple.
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
LJ, you have to. We gotta slow it down.
Yeah,
for the
no, I know.
guest.
I can't fully encompass this in a cave painting the way that you're used to interpreting things because we're on a live on TikTok in 2025, and so I wish I could just draw like a bunch of little arrows killing a big mammoth the way that your brain would like, but unfortunately I can't. So let me slow down. The additions to society in the way that women were able to get a mortgage without a man's name, the way that
Oh,
women
I got you. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, you think that those were backtracking?
They're toxic.
Again,
Well, I'll say, I mean, that's one individual, but I'll say on a macro
she
level.
she named a bunch, so you have to.
Yeah, I don't care
listen.
about her mortgage. On a macro level, women have gone more, and they're more unhappy. That's the facts.
women are great right now. What are you talking about?
Cope,
Women are
cope.
so happy without all of you.
Now,
like,
there are incels, but there are also femcells, which kind of means can't get chad. A lot of women are coping, and you guys are doing a disservice making it look
Well,
like
you know, maybe the women that
the
you have
women are
done
doing
your
great.
study on have been unhappy. I mean, I
Well-
would believe that.
Well, he does his studies through his mommy. So mommy says women are not good enough for Sunny Wunny, and
Oh.
he says, "You got it, mom."
Mom,
I've
Well,
never heard
wait a
this
second.
femcell
Would you
thing.
so
Can
would you rather have a mother that would be more that like Andrew Tate, misogynist mother, or would you rather have a feminist mother who sets her son up for failure?
absolutely a feminist
Feminist.
mother. Heck yeah.
You're gonna walk your son right into alimony.
What the heck?
Or...
Would I rather have an Andrew Tate mom or a feminist mom? What kind of question is that?
Well, but the feminist mom is telling him since birth to worship women.
Yeah. That
Oh
sounds great.
damn!
Oh,
Please,
yeah.
please
Oh,
respect
yeah.
women.
Oh, at the end of the day. Oh, that would be amazing.
This is how you
Right.
please her. Ah! No, don't be respectful. Don't treat her like she's equal.
Oh, she might want to mow the lawn. God forbid.
No,
She
no, no.
might
All I'm
actually be
saying,
able
all
to
I'm
pick up a
saying
hammer,
is
you
that
guys. We gotta kick her out. She can hold a tool that's not pink and made for lady hands. We gotta get rid of her.
She might have thoughts and opinions and feelings.
Oh no, the horror, the thoughts. Host, she can't think for herself.
What can we
No.
do without the men if they can't just like get the nail in?
hold your
right?
sanity.
User 796, etc. Thank you so much for the galaxy, dear Dark Lord. We ask you to specifically send curses and hexes in the feminist movement to our guests in the panel. We banish the mommy incel harmful ideologies and the Andrew Tate ideologies, and we command that you possess the guest with feminism, a shmortion, women's rights, women's equality, all the things, and
The religion
Dark
of the
Lord,
mids.
Dark Lords, we know, we know your power is strong, so we ask you to possess him to paint his nails and to listen to Harry Styles. Praise be to the Dark Lord, praise be to he. Thank you so much, user. I appreciate you. Okay, so you have embarrassed yourself a lot, and you actually exposed yourself as an actual monster. So how many women want to date this guy in the chat?
Yes, that was the question I was gonna ask exactly. Who is a eligible bachelorette that is open to
There's
Liz
gotta
Mo?
be at least one, right?
Or a bachelor?
Or a bachelor, yes. We're all inclusive here. Oh, a little quiet.
Never.
I saw one Apple user
Oh.
7797 said, "I will."
Oh yeah,
Liz said
Potato
0.
Man. Potato Man said he will. So Potato Man, go ahead and message. I call him an incel mommy lover. Oh, that's not your username. Sorry, Ligma25582. Yeah, we're Potato Man. Go ahead and message Ligma25582 and then say that you guys want to have a good time together. And he
Ligma,
doesn't.
just heads
he
up.
doesn't-
Any future partner you have, she will be faking it. So enjoy that.
So, you guys reveal your cards though when you think not gratifying women is like a big deal.
Well,
Like,
it's well, so it's
oh,
so
you
it's
didn't
not
make
so it's
you
not
didn't
really
make me
so.
orgasm because I have an internal itch from hookup
Oh.
culture. Therefore, you're not a man.
Oh,
Okay, you can't use that word for one.
Okay.
What word? What
for-
word was I wrong with?
The O word.
Oh, really? I can say that. Come on now.
Not on this app.
It's not my rule, it's TikTok's.
So here's the thing.
Bruh.
I'm engaged. They're married
But I'm just
to
saying, when you
women.
use those type of insults, like women from the 50s, just for example, would never use those insults
Have
because
you
they had
ever
some bit of
seen
class.
the Golden Girls? Have you ever seen the Golden Girls?
But
Yes,
do you
they
understand
absolutely
that
would.
only a hoe would use an insult like that?
Sure, I could be a hoe all day
Right. But if it fits, why would you use an insult like that?
because it
What
fits.
is the insult in women achieving any
It
sort of
reveals the place you're coming from,
gratification?
which is obviously a self-aggrandizement, and you only care about yourself.
So
which is probably why
you're
most women
getting
don't
your
want kids, by
feelings
the way.
hurt, but don't worry. Apple Man is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Potato Man.
Potato
But-
Man.
I'm
Yeah.
curious.
I think
about saying
honestly,
the O
I think most of
word?
the women have their feelings hurt because a lot of the women that have this whole bravado, you guys finger pop yourselves, you have some wine, and maybe the vibrator batteries work. But that's the reality.
I mean, if that's what you think, dude. I mean, good luck to
That's
you
what
and
I
your
know.
future. No. Good luck to you and your future wife.
Don't worry,
vibrator
Danny.
will be
Oh,
the
Don't
brownie.
worry, Danny.
the
She
other
will
thing-
be AI. She will be AI.
Okay, that's fine. Danny, remember, being a wife is not just about getting a clit orgasm. There's more to think.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll
That
remember.
actually. Oh my
No.
god, those were words that his mommy taught him, and that really freaks me out that his mom taught him that. Huh.
No, fair. I know.
No, but I'm like actually cackling at the demonizing of certain like O's. Like he's just like, oh, this O is demonic, like that's the devil's doorbell or whatever he was about to say.
He's like, he has to text his mom real quick to figure out what the words are.
Yeah, he's like, wait, so, but no, that's not good because I've never achieved that. And also, just like, shout out to this user who's sending a bunch of stuff right now, and they sent the Galaxy, I think, or maybe it was a different one. But some people were like so ready for him to be gone. So, shout out to them.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate you guys. God, I should have kicked him a long time ago, but I actually am really happy that you guys came up.
Yeah, we love being here. Yeah, he was a mess.
And I just want to point out to the chat, one, he said he wouldn't care if I was assaulted on camera. He would just sit there and watch, basically. He's a freak. And then when I started talking about him and his mom's unhealthy relationship, he started talking about incest.